The county sheriff read a foreclosure notice on my dead grandmother's ranch gate. Except I never missed a single payment. Ever. HOA President Linda Sutter smiled from her porch, arms crossed, while her son-in-law's moving truck idled in my driveway. My name's Claire Whitfield, 34. A nurse who just quit her city job to finally live on Grandma's Montana ranch. Grandma Rose left me 40 acres inside Cedar Bluff Estates. An HOA community Linda Sutter had ruled for 11 years unchallenged. Linda controlled architectural approvals, fees, and gate codes, treating every homeowner like a tenant on her personal fiefdom. Neighbors whispered she'd pushed out 3 families already, always right before their properties mysteriously changed hands quietly. I mailed my HOA transfer paperwork early, proud, naive, believing inheritance meant the ranch was simply, finally mine. Linda called, syrupy sweet, claiming my paperwork hadn't cleared committee and inheritance transfers needed special board review. I asked why. She said Grandma Rose had unresolved violations totaling $18,000 in unpaid fines and fees. Grandma Rose had never once been fined. She'd kept meticulous records, receipts, and photos for 40 spotless years. Linda mailed a lien notice instead, dated 3 weeks after Grandma's funeral, signed by a notary I'd never met. I drove 12 hours from Seattle, arriving to find a for sale sign hammered into my own front yard. Linda met me at the gate, blocking my car, saying the ranch was already under contract. Dear, so sorry. The buyer, she admitted, was her son-in-law, Trent, who'd apparently outbid the delinquent estate at auction last Tuesday. No auction notice had ever reached me. My mail, I later learned, had been rerouted through the HOA office. Linda produced a thick file, fake fine letters, forged signatures, dates cleverly matching weeks I'd been overseas nursing. I called the county recorder. They confirmed a lien filed, but couldn't explain who requested the ownership review trigger. Trent moved boxes into Grandma's kitchen while Linda supervised, clipboard in hand, like a general commanding conquered territory. I demanded HOA bylaws. Linda claimed the master copy was being updated and unavailable for homeowner review currently. A neighbor, Dolores, slipped me a business card. Hers had been the second family Linda's fake lien scheme had targeted. Dolores showed me her old file. Identical forged fines, identical mystery notary, identical convenience sale to Linda's cousin. The notary's stamp number matched one reported stolen from a shuttered strip mall office 2 counties over. I hired a real estate attorney, Marcus Chin, who took one look and said, "This isn't sloppy. This is systemic." Marcus filed an emergency injunction, freezing the sale 48 hours before Trent's closing appointment could finalize anything. Linda threatened me with harassment fines for parking outside my own gate without prior architectural committee approval. She changed the gate code that night, locking me out of the community my grandmother had lived in decades. I climbed the fence at dawn, camera rolling, capturing Trent's crew hauling Grandma's antique furniture into a rented truck. Linda called security, claiming I was trespassing, conveniently forgetting the deed still legally listed my grandmother's estate. Security recognized me from childhood visits and quietly let me stay, filming everything from behind the barn. The judge granted our injunction, halting the sale pending investigation, and Linda's smile finally, visibly, faltered slightly. For 1 week, Cedar Bluff went eerily quiet. Linda avoided the gate, sending Trent to handle routine community matters. Dolores and I compared notes nightly, building a timeline stretching back nearly 6 years of suspiciously convenient sales. Marcus discovered the notary witness on my lien shared Linda's maiden name. Her estranged younger sister, we soon confirmed, Linda counterattacked publicly, posting in the neighborhood app that I was unstable, litigious, and disrespecting Grandma's true wishes. She produced a supposed letter from Grandma Rose requesting the HOA manage the estate sale due to my absence. Grandma's handwriting expert, hired by Marcus, confirmed the signature was traced, not written, pressure marks visible under magnification. Trent, confronted privately, insisted he'd just wanted a good deal and hadn't known his mother-in-law forged anything, allegedly. Linda's husband, HOA treasurer Gary, quietly resigned, refusing further comment, packing his office box before anyone noticed him leaving. I subpoenaed HOA financial records. 3 other delinquent estates showed identical lien patterns, identical shell company buyers, all Linda's relatives. The shell company, Bluff Ridge Holdings, traced back to an LLC registered at Linda's own home address. Unmistakably. Neighbors who'd stayed silent for years finally came forward, terrified of fines but more terrified of losing everything quietly. Linda tried bribing Dolores with forgiven fines if she'd recant her statement. Dolores recorded the entire conversation instead. The county sheriff, now involved, requested the original lien paperwork. Linda claimed it had been accidentally shredded that morning. A backup server, maintained by the HOA's outgoing bookkeeper, still held every deleted document, time-stamped and unmistakably damning. Linda accused me publicly of conspiring with Dolores, demanding an emergency board vote to fine us both immediately. The vote failed spectacularly. 3 board members, informed of the fraud, abstained, refusing to rubber stamp Linda's desperate scheme. Linda, cornered, pivoted to sympathy, crying at the podium about years of thankless service nobody apparently appreciated enough. I felt almost sorry for her, briefly, until Marcus revealed the fraud totaled nearly $2 million across 5 families. Trent quietly filed for divorce that same week, telling reporters he'd married into more drama than any deed. Gary, the resigned treasurer, agreed to testify against his wife in exchange for limited immunity from prosecution. The district attorney announced formal charges: forgery, fraud, and elder exploitation, given Grandma Rose's advanced age at signing. Linda hired a flashy defense attorney, insisting the whole community was jealous of her decades of dedicated leadership. The Homeowners Association scheduled an emergency recall vote, the first in Cedar Bluff's 30-year, tightly controlled history. Linda campaigned door to door, offering fine waivers, free landscaping, anything to buy back loyalty before Saturday's vote. Dolores organized a phone tree instead, reminding every wronged family exactly how much Linda had truly cost them. The night before the vote, someone slashed my tires. Security footage showed a car matching Linda's daughter's sedan. Marcus filed for a restraining order, and the DA added witness intimidation to Linda's already lengthy charge sheet. I stood at my grandmother's grave that morning, promising her the ranch would be mine again, whatever it took. Saturday's meeting overflowed the clubhouse. Homeowners packed folding chairs, phones out, ready to finally hear the truth. Marcus presented the timeline. 5 families, 1 shell company, 1 forged notary stamp, all tracing back to Linda. I read Grandma's real, notarized letter aloud, the one proving she'd named me sole heir. No HOA involvement whatsoever. Linda screamed the evidence was fabricated, pointing fingers wildly until Gary stood and calmly contradicted her, testifying live. He described the forged signatures, the fake liens, the shell company meetings held right at their kitchen table. Dolores played her recording of Linda's bribery attempt over the clubhouse speakers, silencing every remaining defender in the room. The recall vote passed unanimously, stripping Linda of her presidency on the spot. Gavel banged by the vice president. Sheriff's deputies, waiting outside, entered and arrested Linda immediately, reading her rights before stunned, silent homeowners. The clubhouse erupted in applause as deputies walked her out, years of quiet fear finally turning into relief. She was dragged past the for sale sign still staked crookedly in my grandmother's own front yard. Trent, humiliated, publicly apologized to me, vacating the ranch that same afternoon, forfeiting his rushed fraudulent claim entirely. The judge, reviewing everything, voided every fraudulent sale, restoring 5 stolen properties to their rightful, grateful owners. I finally held the deed in my own 2 hands, Grandma's ranch legally, undeniably, permanently mine once again. The new interim HOA board publicly apologized, refunding years of unjust fines Linda had extorted from terrified homeowners. Linda pleaded guilty months later, sentenced to restitution and prison time, her decade-long fiefdom finally, completely dismantled. Dolores and I planted a memorial oak by Grandma's porch, dedicating it to every family Linda had wronged. Cedar Bluff elected Dolores as the new HOA president, promising transparent bylaws and an actual homeowner-run review board. I finally moved in, boots in the dirt.
Rank mine.
Grandma's legacy safe, peace restored at long last.